therapy program can get you up and going. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
I'm Brandy Bruley, Superintendent of Taylorville Schools. At Taylorville Schools, we prepare every student for success. We're making great progress on our new Fine Arts Center with the approval of the exterior design. Exciting things are ahead for our students and community. Learn more at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM. Good morning, Central Illinois, and welcome to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and we are just under 4 months out rather from the midterm elections in 2026. We've got, the midterm elections with respect to what's happening in Washington, plenty of elections at the state level as well. And plenty going on with respect to that within and, outside as well of the Illinois General Assembly. And here to talk about that and much more is State Senator Steve McClure, a Republican from Springfield, whose constituency covers much of the listening area for this station, WTIM. State Senator McClure, good to have you back on.
Great to be on, Reed.
Yeah, and I'm glad we got you back on here. I know last month didn't quite work out, but we have you on here. So a couple things that would be good to catch listeners up on. It sounds like there have been there's actually been quite a bit going on with some members of the General Assembly. A recent indictment of Carol Ammons and her husband. Now, this has been something going on as of late. Tell our listeners what's been going on with that.
Sure, yeah. Representative Ammons was indicted on 10 federal charges this week, and she has been in trouble with the law before. Previously, she was charged with retail theft, and that was a charge that she faced while she was a sitting state representative. Right now, the allegation is that starting in 2017, Representative Ammons and her daughter received financial benefits in excess of $100,000 via a scheme that involved illegal payments from the Friends of Carol Ammons campaign account and from local nonprofits that received state grant funds, which were arranged by Representative Ammons. So, it's really disturbing. And this comes on the heels, Reed, of Representative Harry Benton, who was apparently someone who had been accused of doing some improper things with his position that involved sexual harassment, and essentially we haven't got the details of exactly what he did, but there was a report from the Legislative Inspector General saying that it was his behavior was unbecoming of a state representative and outrageous and all kinds of things. So he was pressured into resigning, and he did. And so now we have another state representative just a few weeks later who is accused of crimes by the feds, and we will see what happens. I mean, obviously, she's claiming that she's innocent and she's going to fight these charges, and we'll see what happens, but this is very serious. And, over the course of the last few years, I have had quite a few colleagues that have either gone to prison or been convicted of crimes. And, my predecessor, Sam McCann, went to federal prison over charges of using campaign funds illegally to benefit himself and his family. So this stuff is really serious. And, the Senate Republicans have been calling on changes to our ethics laws for years, and we've gotten no assistance from the Democrats to change these laws. I mean, our legislative inspector general should have a lot more teeth in investigating allegations of wrongdoing, but at this moment, our legislative inspector general is really, it's really hard for them to get things investigated because of the fact that our laws don't allow for more thorough and unregulated investigations of members of the General Assembly.
So a lot going on in that respect. I'm curious if you sort of know of any sort of, I guess differences in trends in terms of these kinds of allegations and situations in Illinois compared to other states, and kind of what you've heard maybe about that sort of thing.
Well, we are have to be the leader in corruption at this moment, and it's not. There's always a running joke about our governors going to prison after serving, or in the middle of their service getting sent to prison. But from the state representatives to the state senators, it's unbelievable. And they're all for. It's not like it's just one crime that people are committing. It's like all kinds of things. I mean, from tax evasion to stealing campaign funds to taking bribes to sexual harassment and just bad behavior in general. I mean, it's a wide variety of different accusations out there, and it's pretty incredible that this is still going on, and it's such a major public way that it's making national news yet again for the fact that we've just got people that are corrupt that are going into office, and it's really unfortunate.
In terms of like some of the ethics calls that you've talked about, like from your party, are there any particular like measures that you yourself have like advocated for in terms of any legislation you could pass?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole group of bills that the whole Senate Republican caucus is supporting to change our ethics laws to give them more teeth. I mean, here's a great example. Like when someone is abusing campaign funds, the state board of elections is tasked with, giving penalties or handing penalties out for violating our state's campaign finance laws. But unfortunately, there is no threat of prison or real teeth within the legal system because of our state's very light campaign finance laws. So you can have people that get a lot more donations than the law allows. For example, let's just say the campaign limit is you can only get $5,000 per year from somebody. If they get $50,000 from someone, well, the penalty is not okay. You're breaking the laws. You're going to go to prison or you're going to get probation or whatever. It's just pay a fine. And if you close down your campaign account, you don't have to pay the fine. So it's ridiculous. I mean, we've seen at the federal level, if you break campaign finance laws, people go to prison, people get convicted, people get probation. But here, you don't even get a criminal penalty at all. You just get to do what you want to do, and then the election's over with. And no matter what happens in the election, let's say you win. Well, if you shut down your campaign account, you don't have to pay the fine. So it's really ridiculous what's happening right now, and it makes for the task of someone who's in the super minority like myself, makes it very, very difficult because people don't have incentive to follow the laws. I mean, there was there have been some high-profile campaigns that have broken laws in our state, and what they did was just shut down their campaign account afterwards. And so, like, one was assessed a massive fine. Well, they never paid the fine. In that case, the candidate who broke all the rules won the election. And so it's like, okay, you won the election by breaking all of our campaign finance laws in our state. You didn't ever have to even pay a fine, let alone get charged criminally, and you win. I mean, talk about a terrible setup that only leads to bad results. And that's what our state has right now.
One thing that kind of stands out to me is that, like, even if the fines, were to get paid in that sense, like, there's a lot of money, obviously, in politics these days. I wonder if, like, the fine would even be enough to dissuade that sort of conduct, especially if someone ends up winning. Is that something you kind of find as well?
Yes. Right now, the Democratic Party in our state, and I don't mean to get partisan necessarily, but right now it's no secret that the Democrats have a supermajority. So when it comes to fundraising, the money that they raise is ridiculous. And also we've got the most wealthy governor in the history of our country who has no problem writing checks to all kinds of various campaigns across the state. So they've got unlimited funds. And even with the unlimited funds, they're still breaking the rules. And so the whole thing is kind of sad. And, I don't think it's right for someone who is personally wealthy to just be able to buy into the system in whatever amount they choose to, because if a person's personally wealthy, they can write unlimited checks to themselves. So that's not, I don't think that's good for government. It's not good for campaigns, and it's certainly not good for the average person who's struggling to pay their bills, who maybe wants to write their own campaign checks to a candidate that they prefer, and writes a small amount. Meanwhile, you've got a governor who's inherited billions of dollars, literally, and he can write unlimited campaign checks to himself and then use that money from his campaign fund to go into other people's campaign funds. It's really insane, and it's just not good for government. And we've now had two extremely wealthy governors in a row that have kind of done that, and kind of written unlimited checks and really had influence over the state politically in a way that's unprecedented. And it's not been good for our state's government, I can tell you that.
All right. Well, that is State Senator Steve McClure, a Republican from Springfield, joining us here on the WTIM Morning Show. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with him here, like I said, on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 Ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Hi, this is Julie Sanchez with People's Bank and Trust. Hola, mi nombre es Julie Sanchez con People's Bank and Trust, and I am here to share information about our Save by Spending program. Save by Spending, round up, where we round your debit card purchase to the next dollar and put that change in your savings account. Also, our Save by Spending rewards program. You can earn cash back on all qualifying signature-based debit card purchases. Call 888-PBT-1954 and learn more about Save by Spending programs. At People's Bank and Trust, we put you and your savings first. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Celebrate America's birthday and our heroes with a scoop of something special from Prairie Farms. Introducing Red, White, and Boom, a limited edition ice cream bursting with strawberry, vanilla, and blueberry flavors the whole family will love. It's the perfect patriotic treat for backyard barbecues, fireworks, and making summer memories. And every scoop helps support the Folds of Honor Foundation by providing scholarships for families of fallen veterans and first responders. Celebrate summer and our heroes with delicious Prairie Farms Red, White, and Boom ice cream.
Taylorville Care Center's personalized therapy program helps you get back to enjoying the sunshine. Whether it's backyard barbecues, grandkid games, or summer strolls, we'll get you moving again. You'll have a private room, great medical care, and the therapy you need to get home and back to doing what you love. Friends and family are always welcome to stop by and cheer you on if you've been in the hospital or just need a little boost. Taylorville Care Center is here to help. Call 824-9636. 824-9636. Taylorville Care Center, caring for our community for over 50 years.
Living with pain? I'm Dr. Chris Dreis with Softwave Therapy in Taylorville. Learn how our advanced Softwave Therapy treatment can heal injuries and eliminate pain. Click our rotating banner now at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Shawless Nagel, Executive Director at Kimmer Village in Assumption. To learn more about our services, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, and it's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kama, and I continue my conversation with State Senator Steve McClure. Now, his staff was actually recently in Taylorville for an iCash event, and they've got a couple other such events coming up in the coming days. State Senator McClure, talk a little bit about those events and how it went down in Taylorville, as you understand.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we had an event that was at the Taylorville Municipal Building, so we thank the city of Taylorville for allowing us to have an event there where we organized and brought in the treasurer's office to allow for constituents to come in and see if the state of Illinois owes them money or not. And we had a great turnout, I'm happy to report. And we broke the record for the most money that's ever been awarded at any of our events. And we had one of my constituents came in and found out that the state owes them $26,000. And so they were able to come in and fill out the forms and get that started to get their money. So it's very exciting. And we've got an event actually today in Carlinville for the same purpose from 10 to 2 at Carlinville City Hall. And you can come in and see if you're owed money. And we're going to have an event coming up after that in Sullivan. So I always try to do iCash events every year, and we try to hit places every year that we haven't hit before. And so to go to Sullivan, Carlinville, and Taylorville to give people the opportunity to see if they're owed money from the state, it's always these are always very popular events, and I always get very excited when I hear about how much money people receive. And the first event that we ever did, I went to it, of course, and saw if I was owed money or not, and I was. So you never know if you're owed money or not until you go see, and I'm glad that we've got people that are taking advantage of these events and finding out that they're owed, in some cases, a substantial amount of money.
That does sound like a lot there. So for these events, do people need to sign up in advance, or do they just show up?
Just show up. And one easy way to find out about my upcoming events is to sign up for my newsletter, which is you go to senatormcclure.com and you can sign up there, or just check the Facebook page. We try to post a graphic for upcoming events. I think the other event that we've got coming up is on Thursday, which is tomorrow, I guess now. Man, this week is just flying by. 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, staff will be at the Nokomis Public Library to meet with constituents to see if they've got any issues with state government or they need any assistance. And those are popular events as well. And we try to, because my district is so big, Reed, 10 counties, it's tough to be everywhere, but we try to have events all across the district so that if people need assistance or people want to speak with me, they've got opportunities to do so.
All right, and I know you're certainly active in both of those online locations as well. So yeah, plenty of events coming up in the district of State Senator Steve McClure. We've got about 90 seconds to go. I understand you were just on a trip to Washington, D.C. You and I were talking a little bit about it during the break. You saw what I thought were some really cool things. Tell our listeners about that.
Well, the coolest thing that I saw was that they've opened for the first time ever in the last couple of weeks the basement of the Lincoln Memorial. And that's such a famous site. And the famous statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting in a chair is iconic. And so I had the chance to go into the basement of the Lincoln Memorial. And the coolest thing is they got, when you go into the basement, by the way, you need tickets to get into the basement, which you can sign up for online. And they had the actual Emancipation Proclamation and the actual an actual constitutional amendment to end slavery. So both of these original documents are actually in the basement of the Lincoln Memorial now. And to see them in person and to do so in such a cool location is pretty awesome. And what a great, 250th birthday setup. And so they're going to keep the basement open. I think they're going to develop a video that plays down there more. But in the meantime, I went down and saw it, and it's awesome. It's open to the public, and I highly recommend it.
And I bet, coming, here from Springfield or around Springfield even, and all of that, and it's very near and dear to, I would hope, a lot of people's hearts right here in central Illinois. That is State Senator Steve McClure, a Republican from Springfield. State Senator McClure, thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you for listening here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. We'll be back with another conversation in about 10 minutes' time.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville.
96.1 FM Taylorville.
107.5 FM Shelbyville.
107.9 FM